Hey everybody, welcome to Turn Their Heads with Gina, where I will be bringing you some of the most fascinating personalities that are, well, truly turning people's heads. My guests are going to share with you their sense of style, fashion, beauty, tips, and secrets. Yes, secrets that you may have never known. On this episode, I am so excited to be bringing you Beau Dieda. He's going to be joining me on my first virtual podcast. You guys, he's amazing. Beau is, I can't say enough about him. He's a sought after celebrity hairstylist in West Hollywood. He is behind the beautiful tresses of Fox Sports host Carissa Thompson, one of who I absolutely adore.
He's the best.
And former Bachelorette Ali Fedotowsky, as well as many others too many to name. So without further ado, Beau, how are you?
Hey, doing good. I mean, as good as we can be, right?
I love it. I'm loving your hair. We got the
Thank you. I actually did it today for you.
I know. I actually got dressed too. I did mine for you.
Well, you always look gorgeous.
Oh, gosh, no, you're too kind. But I am so excited to have you. I can't wait for my audience to get to know you. I fell in love with Beau the very first second I ever talked to him. I feel like we're just brother and sister now. So
Same.
You are amazing. And I just want to get right into it. So
Let's do it.
Take us back to when you fell in love with hair.
Oh my gosh. I mean, my hair journey has been what seems like a lifetime. I started out doing my girlfriend's hair in high school. My grandma and aunt owned, they still own a salon in my hometown of Marietta. Most of you may not know where that is because it was such a small town growing up there, but I started out as a receptionist on the weekend in high school, and then when I'd lock the doors, I would invite all my little blonde girlfriends over, and we would just do highlights with all the blinds closed, and that's really when I fell in love with hair. One of my first real realizations of why I love it and just really got me motivated was I was working in the salon as a receptionist on a Saturday, of course. I was in high school, and one of the stylists was doing this wedding party and did the bride's hair, and she just broke down into tears after and hated her hair and was just throwing a huge fit. And my aunt came and got me from the front desk and was like, Beau, you have to rescue this situation. I know you can do it. You're like the king of updos. You know, back in the day, we did all those super tight updos. Anyway, so I ended up taking it down. I washed her, I redid her hair, and she was crying tears of joy by the end of it. And I just remember having that feeling of making someone feel so good about themselves, especially on their big day. And I think from there, just really ignited my passion for doing hair, but also just mostly just giving people, you know, the confidence and you know, the beauty to go about their day and their everyday lives.
I can totally relate to that, Beau. I just, you were giving me goosebumps when you were talking about that, because I actually grew up in the salon industry. My parents have been doing hair my whole life, and grew up in the salon. I was 11 years old when I was shampooing hair and sweeping hair in my father's salon.
Yes.
But I have to tell you, I mean, it brings tears to my eyes, because the same thing, these women and these men would come in and they might have been feeling funky about themselves, or you could tell that they were just sad about something, and they would just sit down in the chair, and just seeing my mom and my dad like do their hair and bring up their spirits, and like you could just see this whole transformation from the inside out.
Absolutely.
Out, and just, you know, how beautiful they felt and how it changed just everything about them and their mood. But yet it was more gratifying for me to see how this industry and how we can really uplift spirits, and how my parents made you know, the clients feel. And so
Totally. I mean,
it
I always tell people, I'm like, we may not be curing cancer, but guess what? We're curing confidence. And that is way, way above and beyond more than sometimes I think just for the, you know, normal everyday person to go about their lives and to feel beautiful. And, you know, we're lucky enough to be able to do that for them.
I know. Oh, well, you're amazing. But yeah, that's what got me going too, was just that whole thing. Just, you know,
Yeah, it's the relationships, you know, it's the confidence that they have in you and the trust. And, you know, I just love that. I'm like, I tell my husband all the time, I'm like, I think I should go to night school and get my therapist degree or whatever it's called. So I'm already so good at it. I'm like, then I could like charge double, because I'd be like, wait, are we on the clock or are we off the clock?
true. That is so true. We definitely are. So, has this always been a full-time job for you? I mean, is this once you got in it, were you just in it full-fledged, or did you?
You know, it took me a long time to build my career. Certain family things, I was helping out my mom and things like that. So I was actually working at a bar, which helped me put myself through hair school. So I would work at the bar till like 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I would drive my little butt down to Maranello and Huntington Beach, and I would sleep a couple hours in the parking lot, and then all my classmates would knock on my window and wake me up for theory. And, you know, I did that for about a year, and it was hard, but I was really proud of myself once I did that. So once I got my license, I was still kind of working the bar scene, but it really helped me build my clientele, because with every, you know, checkbook that I dropped off, you know, a receipt, I would give my card out, and that's how I really built my clientele. So each day, each month as it progressed, that I got more and more sought after, I just drop a day at the bar and take a day at the salon. And so thankfully now, you know, going on almost 15 years of being behind the chair, I couldn't be happier.
So smart. You're a go-getter.
You know, you gotta have goals.
We'll get to that later, but that's really good advice about just, you know, hitting the ground, the pavement, going and marketing yourself in every way that you can. That's
for sure.
really good.
Yeah, the best thing that I ever did was just put myself out in the community. And, you know, it was still back in the day of the no Instagram, where, you know, your reputation was everything and referrals were your lifeline, you know. But yeah, I did it, and I just always had one goal in mind, was to be the best that I could be, and here I am.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I came from the day of leaving, I guess some people still do it, but leaving business cards on the table.
Yeah, totally.
And back then mine were all big and thick and
oh yeah. Oh yeah. I had like my full face on it with a mohawk and my big Dior sunglasses.
Oh my gosh, I can remember that. And you could either buy a box of 500 or 1,000, and it depends on what kind of week I was having. It was like, I don't have enough for cards.
I know, right?
Oh gosh.
So far.
I'm sure we all want to know, how in the world did you work yourself up to being a celebrity stylist? I mean, actually, you know, behind the chair working on, you know, these TV influencers, and was it
a lot of determination, a lot of consistency, because, you know, a lot of times when you're working on, you know, personalities that are seen on multiple platforms, your work really, really has to speak for itself and has to really be consistent. Whether, you know, you did their hair 2 months ago, you know, or 6 months ago, they have to look exactly the same, because maybe the next segment, you know, is right after each other. So really consistency is the key, and, you know, really marketing yourself. Luckily, I was able to really grow my numbers with the help of some of my really good YouTube friends, and I kind of grew with them as they kind of got bigger. I got bigger as well. So really, I mean, I hate to say it, but in the beginning, it was a lot of luck and a lot of skill, is I guess what I say is I would just reach out to, you know, these, I don't know how you would say it, like lower numbered YouTube stars and Instagram stars. When, you know, all the social media stuff started going on, I would just reach out to them and be like, look, I think you're amazing. I'd really love to do your hair. And I would do a lot of free hair till I really proved myself, and a lot of trade for posts and things like that. But you know, once my platform kind of took off, it really gave me, you know, a wide audience that, you know, people could find me and they could see my work. And yeah, I mean, just really consistency in that realm is the key, because one bad color and you're out of there.
Oh my gosh. So can you share with us the YouTubers? That's so big. My kids follow all these YouTubers all the time.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I started out, one of my best friends, Desi Perkins. She used to be Desi Makeup, but she's a really big makeup influencer slash blogger. Used to do JD Wadey, 180, Jay Maybelline, Manny MUA. I was cutting his hair for a little bit. Katie, aka Luster Lux. You know, they kind of really went to bat for me, and were always posting about me, and were just very, very sweet and always building me up. And I really owe a lot of my social status to them, and I'll always be grateful for that.
Well, social media is such a huge thing right now and such a big platform. It's amazing how some of these people are growing through their social medias. It's like insane.
It's I mean, it's a crazy world, but you know, I tell hairdressers all the time, it's like, you either got to get on board or you're going to be passed up.
Yeah, that's so true. So take me back to the first time, you know, your first celebrity sat in the chair. I mean, were you just like nervous as crap?
You know, I think
Okay,
there's
if I
always,
like mess this up, like
yeah,
I'm done. Like
definitely. I mean, I remember, so I guess like, you know, the YouTube artists and things like that, they were my, you know, started out as my friends. So I wasn't always super nervous until really they started getting really, really big, right? Once they're reaching 1 million, 2 million people, and now every single person on their social platforms are critiquing every single inch of what they do. You know, if there's one bit of brassiness, or if there's one root smudge that's not in the right place, you know what I mean? So I always think there's a bit of butterflies in your stomach. But for me, I really try to use those butterflies and to really perfect my craft, and always make sure I'm treating really everyone that sits down in my chair the same way that I would treat one of those celebrity stylists. But yes, I mean, oh my God, definitely nerve-wracking, because, you know, when you're getting a picture posted of your work that's going out to 2-3 million people, you definitely want to be putting your best work forward. You know, and we're not perfect. And I think that's what people need to remember, is we're artists, you know what I mean, first and foremost. And especially with dealing with hair color, you know, we're not just painting, you know, red on a piece of paper. There's a whole lot of other, you know, things that go into coloring, as you know, pre-existing colors, you know, the porosity of the hair, all these things, you know. So as long as you're doing your best and you're being confident and you're being true to yourself, then I think you'll be successful.
so were you ever, like, I know early on in my career as a stylist, you know, here you're going about, you know, doing their hair and you're doing a color process or what have you, and in the middle of it you're thinking, oh crap, this is not going the way it's supposed to be.
I mean,
Get all hot and nervous and been in the middle of doing somebody's hair, like, oh shit, this is gonna go south, like could go south any second.
uh-huh.
I,
Yes.
yes.
I mean, I would be lying to say if I wasn't. I think every colorist has been through that. You know, where ooh, you're like, put it on, and maybe it's getting a little too dark, or you know, you're trying to lift that hair to a platinum and you get a little bleed, you know. But
Yeah.
I've always found that when I'm honest with the client, when things like that happen, that it really will reduce your stress and your anxiety and actually put them at ease as well. Because, you know, if they're used to getting their hair done by you, and all of a sudden you're doing a bunch of crazy stuff at the bowl on the one time versus the other time, they're gonna kind of know that you've messed up a little bit. So honestly, I've just always felt like honesty is the best policy. I'm like, look, you know what, your color's pulled a little dark. But one thing that I do pride myself on is that I will never, ever, ever in my life let someone leave the salon without perfection.
Yeah. Honesty is the best policy. because clients are smart, like you
They
said.
know, you know.
In my career, when I had to adjust, you know, you leave them for 10 or 15 minutes and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
they know something's up, right?
Yeah, exactly. Going back into the color room, and you're like, oh, what cancels this? What cancels that? You know. But yeah, I mean, I think we've all had those times, you know, and I still have those times, you know, with, like I said before, with hair, you just kind of never really know what you're going to get. And sometimes, you know, you're dealing with a level 3 and it's a level 3, and sometimes it's not.
So how has your business evolved during today times? I mean, COVID, I mean, we are in just 2020 is just,
Oh,
I'm just waiting for dinosaurs to come.
I mean, my girlfriend in Arizona just told me that there's like a swarm, like a huge cave of bats or something that are coming through there. I'm like, what next? 2020.
Well, I know it just keeps on coming too. It's
It
like,
just keeps on coming, you know, but luckily, you know, over the years with my clientele, I've built such a great clientele that I've been able to, you know, do some house calls here and there. And I'm lucky enough to have my own studio in Los Angeles where I can control every single thing about it, from, you know, temperature checks and lysoling the crap out of everything. So honestly, my business has been pretty great, but I do owe that to the trust that I've built with my clients. I think that they know what kind of a person I am, that I would never put them in harm's way, you know, or put them in a situation that would make them feel uncomfortable. But it's definitely been a challenge. I mean, you know, I'm used to seeing 2-3 people at a time, and now I'm down to one person at a time. So it's, you know, definitely a financial pay cut, also as well, just a creativity pay cut. I guess you could say. I feel a little bit sometimes stuck, and I'd like to be doing more, but I just try to wake up grateful every day that I still get to do what I love and that we're able to. So
what are your tips for building trust with your clients?
I mean, like I said before, honesty for sure. I mean, I always say whenever I'm talking to people or teaching, honesty and consistency. Those are probably my 2 biggest traits that I built my career on. Like I said before, you know, if you made a mistake, let them know. You know, never let them leave without absolute perfection, or at least without fixing the mistake or telling them, hey, you know, I made a mistake. Can you come back tomorrow? Something like that. I think just the genuine honesty builds that trust with them. And then as well as, you know, consistency, meaning every time they come, like, they're getting the same result. You know, you're not like wishy-washy, you're not canceling clients all the time. I think that's one of the biggest reasons I'm still so booked to this day is, you know, before I would come to work rain or shine. And I was never one of those, you know, kind of quote unquote flaky hairdressers. I really, if I cancel you, I'm at the hospital. So
Dependability is huge, you know.
and I think that makes a big deal because, you know, a lot of people, especially, you know, now in my career, some people are waiting 3-4 months to get their hair done by me. And to cancel them, you know, it's crushing, and people really do look forward, you know, to coming and, you know, getting their hair done and having that confidence back in themselves. And so I think it's really, really, really important to be a person of your word and to show up focused and not show up hungover or tired or whatever, just always bringing your best self to the salon.
Yeah. Well, I have to be perfectly transparent. Early on in my career, when I was in my early 20s and I was an apprentice behind the chair. I have to tell you, me and my cousin, we just were living our best life in every way. And, you know, we were 21 and into the clubs and bars and staying up all night. And
Oh yeah.
I have to share with you all, I actually lost a job because being an apprentice, I used to have to hold the foils for
Oh no.
for the stylist to foil the hair, and I fell asleep standing up. And you're out of there, Gina. That was my first official job that I got fired. But gosh, I mean, God bless them. But yeah,
Hey, but I bet you never did that again.
Standing up, holding foils for him. Oh
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
The lessons that we learned. So what advice would you give other stylists trying to build their business? And do you get a lot of traffic social media wise? I mean, we're in kind of a new world too with social media.
I know it's so crazy right now because, like I said, I came from the old school, word of mouth and, just leaving literally, like, even when I would like go to try on clothes, I'd like leave my cart in the dressing room. You know what I mean? Just anywhere and everywhere you can find to promote yourself. I'm not even talking having to do it with money. And honestly, in the beginning of my career, I did so much free hair or discounted hair. And really, I honestly believe that is how I was able to build my hair career, because I would just stop someone on the street. I think you can do it appropriately without offending someone, and just be like, hey, I would love to do your hair. I would just find little ways to kind of tell them that I want to fix their hair without telling them I want to fix their hair. And really just having that confidence in yourself, as far as just being able to put yourself out there. That's the biggest thing, is any opportunity that you can get to promote yourself or your business, take it. And there's nothing too little or too small, you know what I mean? And like I said before, offering discounts, offering free services that, maybe this person has 10,000 followers or something. That's still 10,000 people that are going to see your work and possibly want you to do their hair. So I'd say just take every opportunity that you can and, discount the crap out of people or do some free hair. You want that walking advertisement out there.
Right. So you mentioned doing other jobs, in the beginning, and during the time that you were doing a lot of free hair, how were you supporting yourself?
I mean, so like I said, I would work at the salon during the day, and then I would bartend at night to actually pay my bills. Because, I was doing a lot of free hair and a lot of discounted hair. But really that did not go on for too long. I would probably say the first 2-3 months I did a lot of discounted hair, and then really once people just saw my work walking around town, then it kind of spoke for itself. And from there, then I stopped doing the free hair. And I would give a discount, to if I just did a woman's hair and she referred me someone, then she would get, a lifetime discount of 10%, and things like that. And that's another way you can really just build trust with your clients and really make them feel special and appreciated. Not everyone has to refer you, and I never want to take that for granted. I really see that as a sign of respect and appreciation. And that's, I think, the biggest thing that you could do is really give back to your clients.
Yeah, for sure. I early on in my career, I wasn't making enough behind the chair. I was in a commission salon and I had to wait tables. And so I waited tables at Red Robin. And
their fries are so good.
oh, let me tell you about their French fries. When I was pregnant with Priest, I craved their French fries with the Red Robin seasoned salt.
So good.
Douse them, right? It wasn't right. Like I was just like, and I had to dip them in ranch and then in buffalo sauce.
Oh yeah, you gotta have the buffalo.
Oh, together. Like
yeah.
Together. Oh my gosh. It was jar of olives. People say, oh, I put down a big jar of olives. Man, mine were Red Robin French fries. But
oh my God.
French
fries are a weakness for sure.
I did. I waited tables and I was terrible at it. I was a horrible waitress and I had to remember too many ingredients to leave off the hamburgers. That was hard. I was like,
but that speaks to your work ethic, and look at you now. You're a hustler.
Cheeseburger with no pickles, no onions, and I'm just like sweating. Anyway, so I remember those days. So
and they don't. If your work speaks for itself, those days don't last too long. But you gotta make ends meet. And that's the best way to do it. You gotta go be a go-getter these days. You gotta really set your goal and really work hard for it.
Yep. And you're right. I mean, sometimes working 2 and 3 jobs, those jobs are just like blessings because you can really feed off and build off of each one of those. I mean, they all,
Absolutely.
because I did start doing a lot of clients that I waited tables on when I was doing that. So that was awesome. So what social media tips would you give other stylists? I mean, you do some incredible transformations. You have a huge following on Instagram. Tell us
Thank you.
your secret, Beau.
I'll tell you a funny story really quick about kind of how I got started on social media with my before and afters. I mean, who doesn't love a before and after? For me, it's kind of been my bread and butter on Instagram because I feel like anybody can post a beautiful picture, but really, it really speaks to the level of your work if they can see what it looked like before. So I always tell people, you know, if you want to post a beautiful picture, make a swipe and show them what that before looked like, because that's really going to be your bread and butter. People want to see, you know, there's no more of these lookbooks that you would go in the 80s and you pick out. No, people are searching your hashtags. They want to see what you can do. And they're really testing people out there on social media. So if you're not putting your very, very best work forward on your page, then you're doing yourself a disservice. I tell people all the time, I say, you know, I probably use 2 out of 10 before and afters that actually make it to my page. And it's not for any reason that think I'm doing bad work or anything like that, or one person's prettier than the other. Like, I think that's all stupid, but I really just put my best work forward and my most eye-catching work forward on social media, because people have very, very, very limited patience. So if you're not putting something on your page that's really going to catch their attention within 3 seconds, you're really doing yourself a disservice. But in the beginning, I started doing my before and afters as an insurance policy, because when I was working in a salon, I would have some women call back, some cheapskates, and be like, oh, I'm not happy with my hair. It looks the same, blah, blah, blah. And then I would be able to go to my salon owner and say, this is what she looked like when she came in, and this is what she looked like when she left. And I cannot tell you how many times that has saved my butt.
Wow.
But as far as social media, be present. People want to know you. I think people want to put a face to the brand. I think it's important to, you know, really decide on what kind of, you know, what kind of stylist you want to be and really run with it. For me, I do a lot of blonding and I do a lot of before and afters, and I do a lot of extensions, and I think, you know, people really started following me for that reason and being consistent with your brand. So what I mean by that is always showing them what you can do. Like, I always try to make sure I have some extensions on there. I always make sure I have my blondes on there. I really love my reds. Make sure I get my reds on there. But besides that, I mean, really just being consistent, posting at the same time every day, letting your followers know when you're going to be posting. Another great way to start building your engagement is doing giveaways, things like that, to really get people interacting with your page.
Yeah, for sure. So you do speaking engagements, and
I do.
and I love you the second you go up on that stage or platform, because that you have such an amazing, captivating personality. But what do you teach? Take us through what you like to speak of, or, you know,
I do.
how you like to mentor.
I mean, I like to mentor. I don't ever like to tell someone how to do something. I'm more like, I like to give people the skills to do their art, because I feel like a lot of times in this industry, so many times you're going to these big, you know, conventions, and you're going and you're just watching these celebrity artists talk at you, and you're not learning anything, you're not engaging, you're not growing. So when I'm teaching, I really like to have it to be hands-on. I like people to ask questions, and I want to give them the actual tools on how to do it, instead of just standing up there doing a big show and being like, oh, look at me, aren't I great? So a lot of times when I'm teaching extensions and things like that, I'm teaching tips and tricks and different ways that you can do them that aren't the standard cookie cutter ways, because at the end of the day, we are artists, you know what I mean? And not everyone is going to be doing the same thing, nor should it be, because that's what makes us all great. So I really love that one-on-one interaction and answering questions and really just getting back to the basics. I think this day and age, I think a lot of hairdressers have just really lost the basics, and they're trying to do some too much of fancy stuff, when really we can just go back to doing a nice, beautiful highlight, some nice consistent work, and your clientele will speak for itself.
Right. It just, there are no truer words. And I have to be honest, you know, being in the industry as long as I've been in the industry, my whole entire life, I used to go to hair shows with my father and used to sit there and, you know, back then it was about grassroots, and it was about discipline cutting and discipline coloring, and it was, you know, real work. And then I really, there was a time in my career where I got super turned off. I have to be honest, when I would go to these shows and stuff, because just like you said, it was like they were standing up on stage and they were like, look at me, look at what I can do, look at how funky I can make your hair. And then model walks off the stage and you think, oh my God, that stylist, are they going to ever duplicate that? Or she cried, or one to shave her head.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you that you're, you know, taking it back to real, and because I do think, you know, our industry is changing and constantly. And I think it's just super important that we don't get away from, like you said, and just really, you know, real work. It's just not about you and your work. It's about actually really helping somebody, or just teaching them, you know, things that you've learned in your past that could help them. Not
Exactly. Giving them the basics so that they can use their own creativity to create, you know, their custom stuff for all their clients. I think that's really the key, because we're all unique and we all have something different to offer. And I would never want to stifle someone's creativity and tell them, you have to do it this way. I just give them the tools to do it, and then they can blossom on their own.
So tell us how you, some tips on how you keep yourself disciplined and motivated. And I think, you know, it would just, people want to stay on top of their game as well as you. I mean, what are some of the things that you do to keep yourself, you know, up on the game? And
I mean, I think as a hairdresser, you should always be learning. I mean, there's always trends that are changing. There's always new hair color, new, you know, ways of doing things, new techniques. I think it's really, really amazing to keep yourself educated. And honestly, I take a lot of online classes through my peers. I'm lucky to know a lot of these amazing stylists, like Real Eric Bond, Daniel and Beauty, you know, just a few of these people, and they're super inspiring. And I honestly, every time I take a class, I do learn something, or I find a way to make what I'm doing better. And I'm just always wanting to constantly be growing and constantly be evolving, because I feel like if you're not, then you're really doing a disservice to your clients.
Yep. Yeah. Somebody told me a long time ago, you know, when you think you know it all, it's time to quit, because you're never going to know it.
Well, and nobody wants to go to that hairdresser that's been doing the same haircut, the same color for 20 years. You know what I mean? There's things that you can switch up for them that really just keeps them fresh and, you know, makes them feel good about themselves, when you're also getting to practice new techniques and growing yourself and making yourself better.
Right. So what are some of the favorite things that that you love about what you do? Like, what are some of your what's your favorite thing to do?
Oh my gosh. I mean, definitely blonding for sure. All the above. I love to color. I love extensions. I especially love them together, because for me, taking someone from a before to a huge transformation is really just what makes me feel alive. I like the challenge of it. I like the end result of making this person feel like they're just like a brand new person. really just morphing someone from, you know, something into something else. I think for me, it really makes me think, and really just gets my juices flowing. I know a lot of people don't even like take color corrections and things like that. And I kind of built my career on taking color corrections because no one would take them in the salon. And I'm like, this is a huge base of people that we're missing out on if you're not taking a color correction. So I love it. I'm like, come one, come all color corrections. Not only does it make me feel good to help these people that have been so unhappy with their hair or keeps getting turned down by other stylists, you know, because they don't want to deal with it, but it's also, every time I do one, I learn something new. And I love that because I feel like I'm helping them and I'm growing. And I really just, I don't know, I live for that major transformation.
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you, I have always said I became a great colorist due to the first 3 years of my career screwing up everyone's hair color.
Of course.
My own work for the first 3 years of my career. And hey, who knew that I would now develop my own professional color line? But
right?
I learned so much by screwing up. It's not even, that's invaluable. It sucks at the time.
It really is. I mean, it sucks.
Invaluable, you know, it teaches you a lot and stuff. So
absolutely. I mean, that's the best way to learn is you know, is to just do it. That's what I keep telling people. You know, especially a lot of times going back to the education, when people are just showing you, until you do it, until you get your hands in there and you get dirty, essentially, you don't have the feeling for it. So it's just so important. And, you know, I think a lot of times hairdressers get down on themselves if they mess up a color, whatever, but guess what? You mess up and the next time you're going to be great. Yep. And that's just the way it goes.
Yep. And you learn quick, you're never going to do that again.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's never going to happen. Especially when
well, you'll remember
off the root comes off the root. I did a perm in beauty school, and she was pregnant on medications, just you name it, and she wanted a perm, and it's never fun when the hair comes off with the rod.
Oh God.
Talk about you. Hey, gotta persevere, but
hey, I mean, you know, I have.
They create who you are, so you know.
I can't even tell you how many times I have had multiple hairbrushes full of some fried blonde hair in the beginning.
Oh my gosh. Well, great. So you were talking about down and dirty. So we're going to get.
Oh yeah. This is how you learn, you know what I mean? And like I said before, like luckily most of those people were my friends and they were getting free hair, but guess what? That's why you're getting free hair.
Exactly.
And guess what?
Actually mine, I didn't get it. Those early on clients, they stuck with me for 35 years.
That's
awesome. I guess
loyalty, that's the best. I mean, I have all those same clients that were getting free hair that I used to mess up on. You know, some of them still get free hair if they're my best friends, but you know, they put their time in, and now it's really nice that I can give back to them for all the experience that they, you know, gave to me of letting me mess up their hair.
Oh my God. Okay, so on every episode, I do a behind the chair segment. And as a stylist, I learned some crazy things about my clients.
Oh my gosh.
And
we could all write a book.
And so in my behind the chair segment, tell me and everyone listening, something your fans or followers don't know about a client. You can keep it anonymous, but the juicier the better. But because over my career, there are too many stories to tell you.
Oh gosh.
I would share some stories I would never share. So, I mean, like you, but do you have anything juicy for us?
I mean, I
Great.
do, which
Like,
is puts me in such a bad position. But and I have to say this isn't the first time, and I hoped that I would never deal with it again. But I do a lot of couples hair, not necessarily at the same time. But currently, one couple that I am working on are currently both cheating on each other, and neither one of them knows. So
oh,
this is where my client-patient privilege comes in, I guess, because it puts me in such a bad position. One of them comes in, especially the woman, and she's a bit shadier than the guy, I have to say. The guy kind of had like a one-off situation while the wife was out of town, and the wife has been now seeing her trainer off and on for about 6 months. So
oh.
um,
So
it's
are they getting the idea? Are they getting like, are they starting to?
you know, I think they honestly both have no idea. But this was even during COVID, she was still sneaking out to see this trainer when she would go to the grocery store. So it's been quite interesting following along with these two. So we'll see where it goes. Actually, have an appointment with one of them coming up soon. I won't say when because maybe someone will figure it out. But I'll definitely keep you posted.
How do you do it? Because I don't have a poker face. Like, well,
Uh,
I have a very similar experience behind the chair. I had a couple. I did both of their hair, the husband and wife, and then I did another husband and wife hair, and they were cheating on each other, but they were cheating on each other like they switched.
what?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And they would come in and they would, obviously talk to me and tell me everything that I wanted to know and didn't want to know. But me, I'm just like, I don't have a poker face. I'm just like, I just felt so naive, but
You know, it's hard. Honestly, it's hard sometimes when clients put you in these different positions. No pun intended. But I try to just end up changing the subject, or I'll be like, oh, I gotta take this phone call, or I'm pretty good about kind of shying away from it. But it's definitely interesting what these clients put us through. Yeah, that's all I can say about that.
I know. And you think that you've heard it all and you've seen it all or know it all, but
oh man, especially during this COVID, some of the stories that are coming out of this are really, one of my clients caught her husband, I didn't even know these things exist, but I like dating this chat room girl or something, and I guess they have been having a relationship for about 4 or 5 months now, and the wife found him, came home and found him chatting with her on the computer one night. And needless to say, the computer was in the pool. So,
oh my
yeah.
gosh. Oh, I bet you could just go on and on and on.
Oh man, I could go on. I'm sweating a little bit because I'm like, okay, are they gonna watch this? Are they gonna find out?
No, you're great. You're awesome. Hey, we've all experienced it. So, okay, lastly, I have my BFF segment, and I consider you one of my BFFs, Beau.
Yes.
You're amazing. But BFF stands for beauty, fashion, and fun.
Love it.
Let's go. Tell me some beauty tips. Is this something fashion, fun, fit? What? Give us.
Oh my gosh. I mean, where do I begin? Beauty tips, I would say take care of your hair. Lay off the freaking curling iron and the flat iron, please. Especially during this time in quarantine. You're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything. Please just throw a mask in your hair or let it air dry. Please, if you are a blonde, stop curling it. Stop straightening it every day. no one's looking at you. um, as far as fashion, I mean, I am so, my husband's actually a stylist, so he makes fun of me all the time because literally I shop at Target and H&M.
Oh,
So I'm like definitely not the fashion guy because I feel like every pair of nice jeans or a nice shirt that I would wear to the salon is always covered in bleach. Luckily now, like the tie-dye thing is back, so I just like keep splotching bleach all over me to make it look like it was on purpose.
okay, lastly, what do you do to keep yourself in shape? I mean,
Oh my gosh. So at the beginning of this year, luckily, before the craziness, we bought a Peloton treadmill, which I've just been living and breathing on. So I love to do my cardio in the morning on that. It kind of just wakes me up, gets my blood flowing. You know, I try to eat healthy. That's pretty much it because I love my wine. Gotta have my wine at night. So whatever I gotta do to keep having my wine, then I'll usually make it happen.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. Well, I want to thank you, Beau, so much for this such fun conversation. I could
Of
talk
course.
forever, but thank you so much. So before we go, let my audience know where they can find you.
So I'm Beau Dieda, better known as Beausif, Beausef on Instagram. Come over and say hi if you have any questions or, you know, if there's a formula on my page that you want to know about, just send me a DM. I'm super open and I'm always happy to help. And I love to meet new people.
Yes. Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And God bless you. You're amazing. I can't
You're
wait.
amazing. I'm so excited for things to come.
I'm gonna have to come up to LA soon. I'll let you know.
That's right. We're way overdue for cocktails.
Way overdue for wine. Yes. Tito's in my case.
Yeah.
But thank you so much.
Of
Thank
course.
you all so much for joining us today on Turn Their Heads with Gina. If you like this episode, please subscribe, like, and share.